Alright guys, we are back after a pretty upsetting end of the season there in Abu Dhabi with that engine failure. But we're actually starting this preseason back in the main menu of the game. We haven't been here for a while. So pretty much what we're going to be doing is showcasing some of the livery changes that we have for this second season before we dive into F123. So with further ado, let's get right into it. Alright guys, we're going to dive right into it. We're going to be going reverse on the grid of the final points for the season. So first off, we're going to be starting with Williams. They have signed with BMW, so it's going to be a BMW Williams here and the livery. They haven't really shown any performance. We did have some fights with them throughout the last season, but hopefully they can pull forward on what they did for the off season to see how much more of a threat that they could possibly become for this season. So we'll see how they can do. All right, next up we're going to be going to Haas. We're keeping their F123 livery, as personally this is one of the better liveries that I have seen on them throughout the years that I have been interested in F1. But with their no driver change and how close all the cars are for the season, we're hoping to see some more points on the board for them compared to the last season. All right, next up, Aston Martin. This time with a slight change of sponsors. If you can probably notice, we have the Honda sponsors. They just released that they're going to be partnered with Honda in their 2026 season, I believe it was. So we went ahead and found a quick Honda sponsored Aston Martin here, and a surprising driver lineup with Valtteri Bottas replacing Lance Stroll for Aston Martin. So seeing that they got a few points just behind Alfa Romeo, we're excited to see what they can do with those two experienced drivers, Valtteri Bottas and Sebastian Vettel, with Fernando Alonso's retirement. So can't wait to see what they can do. All right, next up is Alfa Romeo, but change of plans. Audi Sport came in a few years early. They're scheduled to sign with Alfa Romeo in 2026. So Audi Motorsport is going to be coming in with Joe Granu and the new hire of Oscar Piastri. And we're hoping to see what Audi can do, as their chassis completely changed over to that of what looks like the Mercedes. So two newer drivers on the team, and can't wait to see what they can do. All right, next up is a fantasy livery for AlfaTauri. Wanted to change up the colors a little bit, and I'm feeling pretty good. They finished ahead of us in the points the last season. And with how we are on the current standings for the team performance, see what their livery change can do, especially with what's under the hood for their vehicle. So can't wait to see. All right, hopping over to McLaren. We are also keeping McLaren the same way they had it in the F123 pack. So no driver changes as we keep Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo. So really looking forward to another great season from McLaren, as they finished in P5 in the Constructors' Championship, so it's just over 100 points. So can't wait to see what Daniel Ricciardo can do. All right, next up is Renault in place of Alpine. Renault has returned. They have reverted to their black and yellow. The livery for the vehicle is from one package, and the driver suit is actually from another package to highlight more of the Infinity sponsor. I had some issues with Esteban Ocon with the driver suit and the hat and shoes, but we'll have to tough through it and see what Alpine, now Renault, can do for this season, as they did score top 4 in the Constructors' Championship. All right, next up we have Mercedes. No driver change to Mercedes, but we do have a livery change. Going to be going to Mercedes Monster Energy here And little buddy, little old pal, Race King 2016 actually did this. And he had mentioned that he did some work for F122 after he did my livery for F121. And I came across this and I reminded him, it's like, hey, I'm going to be using your monster livery for Mercedes for this season. So hello to you, Race King, and you're welcome for showcasing this livery. It looks really nice, and can't wait to see it on the track. Next up is RedBull. We're keeping the livery the same as the F123 pack from Venturi Studios. And no driver change here as we keep Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. So looking forward to another great challenge of a season with RedBull. And hopefully we can get up to the back of them this season and challenge them for some podiums. And last but not least, we are moving on to Ferrari, which won by 21 points in the Constructor Championship. And we actually found a livery pack by Sanzi, I think it is. If I butchered the name, I do apologize. It's basically a blackout version of the Ferrari, kind of like a pretty much saying that this would be a livery that they would use for a night race. And you have these 75 years of Ferrari on there on the back behind the camera. So looking forward to a great season. These are our team liveries, and let's move on to preseason testing, aka practice 1, and see how things go. Alright, we made it into practice, or in our case, preseason testing pretty much. We're going to be spending as much time as we can in practice 1, getting to feel the recent upgrades for the car that we didn't get to with the last race of Bahrain and the season, the end of the season. So, feeling pretty good. It's going to be a dry weekend here in Bahrain. And we changed our weekend tire configuration, our tire combines, to have more soft tires during qualifying. So hopefully we can have a set of soft tires throughout the main races in case we need it. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and hop out onto the track and see what we can do as kind of a test ground and see what we can do with our upgrades and car. So let's get out there. Alright, so we ran a few laps with the hards, and we ran a decent lap at a 134.29, and provisional second right now, but Sergio Perez has a pretty good gap on us, a 1.3 second gap, so we're going to be probably back there between P14, P22 by the time the end comes if we don't swap over to the mediums. But we're going to let some time go past and get some other times on the board, and we'll showcase some of the medium tire runs. So we'll be right back.
P9 with that lap, well done.
Alright, quick little update at the end of this episode here. We didn't go through the menus because all of our R&D, all of our money, all of our points were reset because I ended up going into the season selector and hitting the wrong button, not paying attention. And to my knowledge, the calendar editor mod is not currently working. I watched some videos, I tried to get it to work, and then some people were telling me that it no longer works for F122. So we made sure to resimulate the entire season, and I took screenshots of all the parts that I had saved, and made sure that we had it as close as possible to what we had before I selected the new season. And everything's going pretty good, and we're still kind of where we were at when we ended the first season originally, so hopefully that won't hinder our season too bad. So I just want to let you guys know, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.